Hello, and this is Delia. I'm reading The Struggle. This is chapter 14, and this is part 8. There was applause and scattered and distracted when she finished, and the mayor announced the rest of the events for that afternoon. And then it was all over, and Elena was free to go. She floated off stage without any conscious idea of where she was going, but her legs carried her to the north wall. Damon's dark head moved out the side door, and she followed it. The air in the courtyard seemed deliciously cool after the crowded room, and the clouds above were silvery and swirling. Damon was waiting for her. Her steps slowed but did not stop. She moved until she was only a foot or so away from him, her eyes searching his face. There was a long moment of silence, and then she spoke. "Why? I thought you'd be more interested in how." He parted his jacket significantly. "I got invited in for coffee this morning, after scrapping up an acquaintance last week." "But why?" He shrugged, and for just an instant something like consternation fluttered across his finely drawn features. It seemed to Elena that he himself didn't know why, or didn't want to admit it. "For my own purposes," he said. "I don't think so." Something was building between them, something that frightened Elena with its power. "I don't think that's the reason at all." There was a dangerous glimmer in those dark eyes. "Don't push me, Elena." She moved closer, so that she was almost touching him, and looked at him. "I think," she said, "that maybe you need to be pushed." His face was only inches away from hers, and Elena never knew what might have happened if at that moment a voice hadn't broken in on them. "You did manage to make it after all. I'm so glad." It was Aunt Judith. Elena felt as if she were being whisked from one world to another. She blinked dizzily, stepping back, letting out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "And so you got to hear Elena read," Aunt Judith continued happily. "You did a beautiful job, Elena, but I don't know what was going on with Caroline. The girls in the town are all acting bewitched lately." "Nerves," suggested Damon, his face carefully solemn. Elena felt an urge to giggle and then a wave of irritation. It was all very well to be grateful to Damon for saving them, but if not for Damon, there wouldn't have been a problem in the first place. Damon had committed the crimes Caroline wanted to pin on Stephen. "And where is Stephen?" she said, voicing her next thought aloud. She could see Bonnie and Meredith in the courtyard alone. Aunt Judith's face showed her disapproval. "I haven't seen him," she said briefly. Then she smiled fondly. "But I have an idea. Why don't you come to dinner with us, Damon? Then afterwards perhaps you and Elena could—" "Stop it," said Elena to Damon. He looked politely inquiring. "What?" said Aunt Judith. "Stop it," Elena said to Damon again. "You know what. Just stop it right now." And we're moving on to chapter 15. And that was the end of that chapter, and I will continue.